Good morning, America. Thanks for joining us here on the Andy Kirkendall Show, where Andy interviews actors, writers, filmmakers, athletes, musicians, songwriters, and more, and asks them, what do you do and why do you do it? So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and enjoy the show.
Good morning. Welcome to Morning Moments. Thank you for joining us today. Today, I have an author. He is actually the founder of Outdoor Truth Ministries. He's written a weekly column for years in newspapers and regional magazines across the country for 20 years. And then he started putting his work into books, and he's authored several books. And he'll tell you a little bit more about his story. I happen to have one of his books right here, Outdoor Truth Volume 4. That means there's 3 other ones before this, and he'll tell you why there's so many volumes. And I am so glad to bring author Gary Miller to Morning Moments. Welcome, Gary.
Hey, thank you for having me. Looking forward to this.
You talk about hunting and fishing and kind of man's man when we start talking about the stories that we hear. But let me ask you a little deeper question than all that. What do you do and why do you do it?
I do a ministry to hunters and fishermen, mostly men. My audience in my mind is always men, but if I get to speak at events, there's women, and women hunt too. But my ministry is to men. And I've done that for, like you said, over 20 years now. And the reason I do it is because, I guess, if I could put it in a nutshell, George Barna found out several years ago that once an adult reaches the age of 19, he only has a 6% chance of ever coming to Christ. So, and that group of men is a group that nobody really goes after, and maybe rightly so because of the odds. So that's the group that I go after, and it's the group that I've been called to go after. So, and I feel comfortable in going after. My background is a little toward the skeptic, so it helps me. But I also think I have an inroad because the first article I ever wrote, in fact, it's on my shirt, it says, I've never met an atheist hunter. And even though there are atheist hunters, when you look at the demographic of how many hunters and fishermen there would be very few atheists, because anybody who's outside, as Paul said in Romans 1, we can see the nature of God. So I get to talk to adult men. And I do it, and it's just where I feel God called me, and most effective. Yeah.
You know, when I was reading through the book that was sent to me, I love it because they're just 2-page stories. I mean, it's perfect for guys who has like a attention span of a gnat. So here, it's nice to be able to read it, get the message, what God has for you, and move on to the next one. So it's really written in column form too, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I had 21 years ago in July, I had 2 guys in my office. I pastored one church for 18 years, and I had 2 guys in my office, and they wanted to sell me an ad in their newspaper. And I said, I've been thinking about this article to do, and it worked out. But I knew that I was writing to men mostly, so I tell this publicly a lot. So I say, number one, in order to write to men, the articles had to be very short, because our attention span is nothing. And our reading desire is nothing. So all the articles are 500 words or less. And I also tell people I have to use little words. So, they're I call them deer stand or bathroom books or coffee table books. You can pick up an article and read in the middle of the book or the end. One doesn't flow after the other, even though I do write in seasons. Like I'll start with winter and spring. Like winter would be, or fall would be deer. Spring would be a turkey, and the summer would be a fish, and whatever. But so I do seasons, but you can pick up an article and look at it anytime or any place in the book.
It's so funny. I come back from a men's group and my wife will go, well, how's Bill and how's his wife doing? How's his kids? And I go, oh, I don't know. He appears to be okay. He said he's all right, but I didn't go in depth, Well, how's his kids? I don't know. I don't know. And that's just the way
That's
the
right.
guides talk.
Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
limited.
Yeah. And what I try to do, and I think I'm most proud of, for lack of a better way to put it, I'll give you something that, for instance, a lot of people call them devotional books, but to me they're not. I let people do that because I would assume mostly Christian people and even dedicated Christian people read it, but that's never been my audience. My audience has always been the guy who's sure about God, but he's unsure about church, Jesus, and Christians. And that in the newest book, for instance, and I'm just thankful for this because it's how I do things. When you list scripture, you have to, the publisher wants you to write down, the version you're using and all that. So I have to go back and look at all those and make sure all those are correct. I don't know how many articles are in that book. I'm thinking 64 or 5, but out of those articles, there's only 10 references to scripture. And the reason that is I learned this from a professor. It's when I speak or talk to or write to guys, I don't want to cripple them. I don't want to hurt them. I just want to put a rock in their shoe. I just want to put a little pebble that when they think, it's a little, they know it's there, a little uncomfortable, but I just want them coming back, and that's the reason I think newspapers and publications have kept me in their publications too, because I don't cram it down people's throat. I think Jesus is winsome on his own.
Yeah. I think sometimes we work harder than we need to.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, it's fun to do it that way. I'm comfortable in doing it that way. I'm gentle with people. In the introduction, that's my favorite part of the 4th book. Actually, in the introduction, I tell people this is my favorite book, and the reason is because I'm a better writer. I mean, if you do something for 20 years, you're just better at it, right? And then not only that, but I'm a better person. And I'm a better person because I'm older. I've had more hurts. I've grown in my faith. So that means I love people more. I'm more gentle with them. I'm more long suffering. So I like all that. Most of us, especially in the Bible Belt, because of just the odds, we've been hurt in church. And not only we've been hurt, but we, unlike, your nursing degree, in the Bible Belt, a lot of times you can just wake up craving chicken and say, I've been called to preach, and somebody will put you in a pulpit and you can say anything about Jesus and God, and somebody will believe you. So I think we've misled people. So, I think what I try to do is in my speaking or writing, I do small group with men, and the ministry involves a lot of stuff like that, is I try to apologize to guys and then try to say, let me tell you how I think Jesus really is and God really is. I try to heal people from those things, hurts, and I do it in an atmosphere that they're comfortable with.
Although these books, like you said, can be used for male and female, the majority of people who hunt and fish are male. That's what the statistics tells us. This book, and you were sharing with me another book that you'd done about, and I hate to say it devotional, but it was kind of a devotional.
That one is actually.
It was a devotional. But tell us about how these can be used in either small groups or just conversation groups with men.
Well, yeah. A lot of, I do have an email list that I send that article out to, not only publications, but an email list. I send that out every Monday. So, I get to engage with a lot of men that way, because again, it's not in your face. It's stuff that they know and stuff that they just need it in their, they need to take it with their sort of environment. So, but I'll tell you this before I forget. Here's where here's where that we forget about, not me, but in the books that I do, those type of books, a lot of women buy them because they give them to their husband, because it's so light reading and it's so short and they're all about hunting, and it's not in their face. They say, honey, take this with you to the turkey blind or the deer blind or whatever. And so a lot of listen, if your husband has, is a Christian, or you think he is, but is a nominal Christian, and maybe don't go to church, maybe he's not sure about things. Listen, this is what I do. This is the book for that guy. Yeah. This is the book for that guy.
And down below, you've seen the websites of how they can get a hold of these books and how they can. And let me ask you, they sign up for your emails to be a part of that as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just go to the website. Yeah.
So I've got that website down below. You can see it right there now. And I've got it down below so that you could sign up. But just a little note for you ladies out there, get online and buy some of these. These would be good birthday and Christmas gifts. Because sometimes after a while, you wonder, we've been married going on 47 years. We don't know what to buy each other. We just go in the store and go, hey, this is my Christmas gift that you bought me. Okay. It's okay, fine. Right. But these are good little things you could wrap up. And again, they're just perfect for us guys because they're short and to the point. So you might want to check these out, folks.
Yeah, thank you. It's they're good, like little Father's Day, stocking stuffer,
Father's Day's coming
stuff,
up. Yeah.
It's real light, easy stuff. Yeah.
Good. Well, I hope that we've whet the appetite. I know I'm gonna be going on a website and getting that daily or the whenever you submit somehow. So
Monday.
Monday, get some of them. But please go online, check these out, check out his books. I've just mentioned just a little bit of them. There's so many there that you could go check out. As we get ready to close here, I'm going to ask you all to do something that all my faithful listeners are saying. Here he goes again. He's going to say it. And I want to say, I'm going to say it. I want you, as soon as this interview is over, stop and pray for Gary. Pray that God would continue to give him the creativity, the wisdom, the knowledge to keep doing what he's doing. And also when he has speaking engagements and has those opportunities, that God will just put him at the right place at the right time. You see, Gary desperately needs your prayers, folks, and you need the practice. So pray for him that God would use him in a great and mighty way. Any closing thoughts, Gary?
No, just thank you. Again, I would just say again, George Barna, once an adult is over age 19, he only has a 6% chance. And the people that I talk to, I tell them this: they're not homeless, they're not hurting, and they're not hungry. Many of them are very wealthy. Many of them are doctors. Many of them are, whatever. They have good homes and good wives, but you know what? They're just lost. Yeah. And you know what? And we still got to reach them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. God says, go into all the world. That means your cul-de-sac, folks. 2/3 of God's name is go. So go and preach the gospel. And if you have to, use words, but God's got a call for you. Thank you, Gary, for sharing with me. Please pass this interview on to others. Keep coming back, and may God richly bless you.